Satan and his jinn. Some would say that Satan himself has no physical effect on us humans. All he can do is merely whisper to us. However, a simple whisper can go a long way. When we get distracted, while praying for instance, it is his whispers that have caused us to think about other things. This is the way in which he and his demons speak through us. They can't, however, harm or affect anyone who is close to and has a good relationship with God. Satan can, however, speak through anyone at any time as long as he is connected to them, and one source of this connection is through symbols. In Christianity, Satan is considered to be a fallen angel. Fallen because after being one of the most, if not the most, pious and exceptional of all the angels in heaven, he became overcome and consumed with pride, which led him to challenge God and his word. As a result, he was cast out of heaven along with a third of the angels who had also gone against God. Muslims have a slightly different belief. Many of you may be unfamiliar with the word jinn. Muslims believe God had three separate creations: man, the angels, and the jinn. Man is made out of clay, angels from light, and jinn from smokeless fire. Man and jinn are similar to each other as God gave both free will, and therefore there are good jinn and bad jinn, just like we have good humans and bad humans. Like us, the jinn will be judged by God and will go to either heaven or hell. Jinn can see man, but normally they are invisible to man. Jinn can also interact with man, but God has forbidden them from doing so. When there is contact with the jinn, who are thought to exist in another dimension, it is with the jinn who have decided to disobey God, or the bad jinn. This is why the word jinn is synonymous with the word demon. Angels only do what God asks of them, and are unable to disobey him. They have no free will. According to Islam, jinn and the angels were created sometime long before man was. Satan was one of the jinn. When God created man, Adam, he commanded the rest of his creations, the jinn and angels, to all bow down or prostrate to Adam. They all did except for Satan. Infuriated and overcome with pride, he refused to. He felt superior to Adam as he was made of smokeless fire and Adam made of dirt. God, instead of destroying him, cast him down to earth until the end of time, or judgment day. What comes to mind when you hear the word jinn? The singular of jinn is genie, which sounds a lot like genie. It turns out that jinn is Arabic, Djinz is Romanized, and genie is anglicized, and all three fit under the category of demons. Satan's army of evil demonic spirits, or jinn, can take the form of almost anything: reptiles, household pets, apparent angels, and even dead relatives, and are much faster and stronger than us humans. A case may be made for these genie also being able of human possession. The English alphabet is the beast. And the dragon was cast out, that old serpent called the devil, and Satan, which deceiveth the whole world. Revelation 12:9. This beast system was built thousands of years ago, starting in Egypt. The story of Nimrod and the Tower of Babel involves his failed attempt to bring everyone under one language. God destroys the tower, and the people are spread all over the world, giving rise to many different languages, as a result of people not being able to mix with each other over large distances. There are many different opinions about what the beast is. Nobody knows when the very last days or judgment day will be, but there are several major and minor signs or events which will let us know that we are living in end times, and it must occur before judgment day. The rise of the beast is one of them. Is the beast an actual living creature, or is it a metaphor for something else? Is the beast also the Antichrist, or are they separate, with the beast paving the way or laying down the groundwork for the Antichrist's arrival? Is there a beast system? Signs and symbols rule the world, not words or laws. Confucius. This statement by Confucius contradicts itself. Maybe Confucius meant to confuse us. Laws are composed of words, and words are made up of letters. The letters of the alphabets are symbols, many arising from signs that represented words or a combination of words. To control the world, you must have a world communication system. What probably might first come to one's mind when reading this would be the internet and the World Wide Web. After all, it makes sense. However, this is only a part of the equation. The internet makes it easy, quick, and relatively cheap for everybody around the world to connect with each other, because it really is a web we are all a part of. How are we all to overcome the many different language barriers, though? This is where the English alphabet comes in. Even though different nations may speak different languages, and some regions even have different alphabets, almost all are familiar with and even use the English alphabet. The English letters are universally known and can be seen all around the world on countless number of things ranging from names of shops to road signs, you name it. So now we have a set of symbols that is universally recognized. The last part of this equation is the English language, which allows us to use this set of symbols, putting them together in a seemingly endless number of different combinations, forming words that can easily be read and comprehended. English is pretty much a universal language that in most places is a requirement for one to learn and to have a fairly good command of for their professional careers. The most important part of this equation is this powerful set of symbols, so that is the English alphabet. The alphabet can be defined as a system of signs and characters with which a language is written. The English alphabet is Satan's Trojan horse. On the surface, it seems innocent, as just a tool for communication, enabling us to connect with each other. However, when examined carefully, we discover that there's more to it than that is dark and sinister. It is used as a tool of deception. Some say that Satan's greatest deception is making us believe that he doesn't exist. If these symbols, present everywhere, almost on everything, are somehow related to him, imagine the kind of effect they must have on us. Their presence all over shows the human race's allegiance to him, whether voluntary or involuntary. What about when we read these words or say them out loud? Think of the power a single spoken word has over someone, how it can lead them to be angry, sad, or happy, or how it can make them laugh or cry. We know that different words have different frequencies and vibrations, so maybe spelling actually does place different spells on us. After all, we are made up of energy with frequencies and vibrations. A brief history of the alphabet. The English alphabet may turn out to be a direct product of demons themselves. Think about its history and beginnings starting in Egypt. Keep an open mind. The origin of these occult esoteric beliefs begins in Egypt, and it's said that the satanic bloodline of the elite can be traced back to Egypt. This is the first correlation made connecting the English alphabet with the occult and esoteric. Just as the satanic priesthood made its way from Babylon onto Egypt, then Greece and Rome, and spreading throughout Europe, eventually reaching England, the alphabet, as you will see, spread along the same route from Egypt to England, and eventually all around the world, both occurring on the same timeline, dating back thousands of years. Sumerian writing is one of the oldest and fully developed systems of writing. The Sumerians wrote to please their gods. They developed their writing over centuries from pictures to symbols called ideograms, and added symbols for spoken sounds, phonetic letters, forming cuneiform. By 2700 BC, the ancient Egyptians used hieroglyphics for writing. Semitic script adapted Egyptian hieroglyphs and was used until adopted by the Canaanites. This script was widely used by Phoenician maritime cities, as was referred to as Phoenician. This alphabet spread throughout the Mediterranean and was picked up by the Greeks. The Greeks modified this alphabet, introducing vowels into it around the 9th century BC. The Athenians adopted it and the rest of the Greek-speaking world followed. Greek is used in all of the modern European scripts. Here's where it gets really interesting. Greek was originally most commonly written from right to left, like the Phoenicians, but scribes were free to write in any direction. There was even a style called boustrophodon, where writing was done alternating from right to left and left to right. It should be also noted that hieroglyphic script could be written vertically, from top to bottom, as well as both horizontal directions. The shape of the letters could be mirrored or inverted, depending on the direction of writing. Later on, though, writing from left to right became the standard for the Greeks. So altogether, we get Greek letters that look like the Phoenician letters, except that they are reversed, or their directions were changed. This correlates with some of the ways among the demons use the alphabet. Among those is that they read backwards or in reverse. The Latin, also known as the Romans, adopted the Greek alphabet and made some changes too. One change was curving 3 zigzag lines to form an S. The C, K, and Q could all be used to make the K and G sounds. The letter C was modified to make G. Next came along the Anglo-Saxons, who started using Roman letters to write Old English. The W sound began being written using 2 U's, which is obvious. The U during this period also looked like a V, which is why the W looks like 2 V's. Later on, a rounded U was used. From the letter I, we get the J. All of these changes came about briefly to finally give us the letter characters which we use today. One of the discoveries that helped decipher Egyptian hieroglyphs was the Rosetta Stone. One of the scholars that played an important in unraveling the mystery of the Rosetta Stone was a man by the name of Thomas Young. It was agreed that written on the stone was the same message, only written in different scripts. The three scripts were Egyptian hieroglyphic, Demotic script, and ancient Greek script. It was determined that Phoenician letter characters were used in the Demotic script as well as the hieroglyphic text. Young discovered that the Phoenician letters Ptolmes were used to write the name Ptolemaeus. Those letters in today's transliteration would be Ptwlmys, just as R-MSS corresponds to Ramses or Ramses. This is Hebrew black magic and Kabbalism, or Kabbalism. Note, in Portuguese, the K, W, and Y were part of the alphabet until reforms were made in the 20th century. These letters were replaced by others having the same sound, so psychologia became psychologia, kiosk became kiosk, and martyr became martyr. Vowels were not included in the alphabet until the Greek added them around the 9th century BC. Scribes were free to write in any direction. Letters could be mirrored or inverted depending on the direction of writing, and there are letters that are similar in shape and or sound and are interchangeable, therefore giving rise to numerous spellings of the same word.